Sandra, let's bring in Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner and a Fox News contributor. So, Byron, as we mentioned a moment ago, impeachment proceedings against the DHS secretary begin next week. Meantime, with Bret Baier last night, Mayorkas is saying, well, hang on a minute. This isn't just an American problem. Other countries are affected, too. Listen here.
Bret, the numbers are historic. The numbers are extraordinarily large. This is something that is not specific to the United States' southern border. This is something that we are seeing throughout the hemisphere and throughout the world. We have increase in authoritarian regimes. We have more extreme weather events that are driving people from their homes.
All right. Now, first, what he said there about the weather. Bill Malugin has talked to a lot of migrants, and not a one of them, he's told us yesterday, has mentioned climate change as a reason why they're trying to get into the United States. And secondly, while immigration is a problem for other countries, particularly in Europe, those countries are doing something about it. And we're not, Byron.
Yeah, President Biden also attributes a lot of this flow to poverty, but it is just a fact that millions of people in the poorer parts of the world would indeed like to come to the United States for more money and a better life, but that's been true for decades and decades and decades. And it does not account for the fact that Joe Biden actually opened the door in 2021, and we've seen the number of illegal crossers coming into the United States just skyrocket in the years since then.
And he still refuses to term this a crisis. Watch this exchange with Bret last night.
Yeah.
But you do think it's a crisis now?
Bret, it is a challenge that we have been addressing vigorously with all of the tools and resources that we have been provided. We are asking for more tools and resources.
All right, so addressing those 2 points. First of all, everybody says it's a crisis except for people in the administration. Secondly, all the tools and resources that they're asking for, Byron, and yet another huge expenditure that they're begging Congress for would do nothing to stem the flow of migration. It would deal with it once they got here to the United States, but would do nothing to stop the pull factor of people coming across the border.
And that's a point that Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, made in a report that they've released just this morning, talking about how much more has been spent on the border since Joe Biden became president, but at the same time, it's only increased the flow. I'll give you just a few numbers. In fiscal year 2021, Congress appropriated $4.86 billion for the border. The next year, that went up to $6.23 billion. The next year, 23, it went up to $7.15 billion. And in those same years, the number of monthly encounters, that is illegal crossers who are actually encountered crossing into the United States, grew from 163,000 a month in 2021 to 230,000 a month to 266,000 a month, and now it's at 308,000 a month. So members of the House, Republicans in the House, are saying we keep giving more and more and more money and the flow increases, and it's because the administration is using the money to accommodate and to facilitate the flow of illegal crossers into the United States and then their relocation from the border to other parts of the country. It's not being used to actually stop the flow.
So President Biden is giving his first campaign speech in the 3 o'clock hour this afternoon. It's not likely that he's going to mention illegal immigration as one of the things that he's going to address. But one of the things he will do is point out January the 6th and Donald Trump calling him a threat to democracy. It's backed up by this new Biden ad. Watch this real quick.
There's something dangerous happening in America. There's an extremist movement that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy.
I mean, it's no wonder that Biden wants to talk about President Trump in January the 6th, because let's put up this Monmouth poll from the beginning of December. He is underwater on so many major issues, including, look at this, he's underwater on climate change. He's got to change the subject, Byron. No question about that.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting. Biden is kicking off 2024 with a couple of speeches devoted to some of the darkest moments in U.S. history. This speech about January 6th. And in his next speech in a few days, he's going to go to Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, where a white gunman murdered 9 black parishioners back in 2015 when Biden was vice president, as a matter of fact. And so the common thread of all of these speeches is going to be that Donald Trump and MAGA pose an existential danger to the United States, that democracy in the United States might come to an end. And I think what you said is exactly right. Biden really has little choice but to make this the theme of his campaign because, first, majorities of Americans, both Republicans and Democrats, view him as too old for a second term. And second, they disapprove of almost everything he's done in office. So he's going to try to make the election about Trump.
Yeah. He's not going to make it about, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago, I would assume. Byron,
no way.
good to see you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, John.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.